Texas Regional
Yes.
Certification Agency. Hey, it's a long name, but it's protected us because it insulates us because we're a government entity and we're a nonprofit. And
Mm,
in this environment, where people have to change their names and find new words. I have to
mm.
find new words just in everyday language. I don't need to have to change our name. So we're really blessed and privileged to be able to serve the way that we do and not have to battle as much as our community partners have to.
Yeah, and actually, I think my next question kind of speaks to that. So just fully transparent, like you said, a lot of us that use Black women, there are certain words, especially in this current administration, that has made it difficult, let's just say, opportunities for these type of organizations to have access. So for the agency offering multiple certifications under MBE, which is a minority Black enterprise, WBE, which is for women, DBE, which is for people with disabilities, I believe the AC, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but that's the airport. Uh, what's the C mean? I know it's disability for the D as well.
So the DBE is a disadvantaged business enterprise.
Got it. Okay.
So that's for minorities and women. And if in any U.S. citizen that has been socially or economically disadvantaged within the United States of America can apply for
Got
this.
it.
And the ACDBE, that's the Airport Concessionaires Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. So all of this goes into the law. It really kind of streams up to the Civil Rights Act. So within that piece, if you think about the bipartisan infrastructure bill, that $1.3 trillion, all of that, it really comes down to a portion of that has to be utilized by small businesses or have small business participation components. So that's what all this buzz and all this change and these regulatory changes are coming from, because most people think the DBE and the ACDBE program, oh, that's just a program. I'm like, no, this is a regulation. That's a law, which means you have to go to the Supreme Court to change it, which is why they kind of made some shifts where they could to remove race and gender presumptions and made it just a small business program.
Just simply stated, let's say you check a couple of the boxes, right? Would you advise that business to check as many or get as many certifications as possible if you fit that umbrella? I hope that
I would
question.
say, and I've been asked this question a few times, and I think that it's really important for that firm to understand what is it that they're doing, who are their customers. It's not aspirational. If you know that these are the companies or the cities or municipalities or the corporations that you want to work with, then yes, multiple certifications are in order. If you want to work on federal contracts, then you want to look at the DBE. The airport concessions, we travel. So when you go through when you go through the airport or DFW or Love Field or anywhere, in Philly or Chicago, you see all of these concession stands or all these restaurants or Fridays. Most people don't know that a number of them are owned by women or minority, but owned by small businesses. So those are the concessions. Within DFW, we're really privileged to be able to serve them in that all of those ACDBE certifications come through, the agency. So yes, they're still evident and relevant. I say that because, most people say you want to stay away from the minority or the women-owned businesses, but you have corporations that are doubling down,
Mhm.
and they're saying that there is work there. HEB, Costco, there are a number of large corporations that still have or are still looking for women and minority certified firms. And at the baseline of all of it, you're a small business. You're a small business before you're anything else. With all of the regulatory changes, the insulation is get your small business certification, because that's where the majority of the programs have shifted to and are shifting to.
Mhm.
The federal process, that they're going through reevaluation next month. So that stream of opportunities are going to start to open up. But in the meantime, small business enterprise certifications are really where, You're going to get the bulk of your opportunities, but at the same time, keep those certifications um, up and running because, like anything, environments do change.
Yeah. And you mentioned next month there will be a government meeting about this, or how does that work? And is that something that just regular constituents can pay attention to?
They should. So right now, back in October 3rd, the U.S. Department of Transportation, so USDOT, issued new rulings or interim final rules about the disadvantaged business enterprise, and by proxy, the ACDBE, or the airport concessions that fall under those regulations, stating that they've removed race and sex-based presumptions. So prior to October 3rd, if you're a woman, if you're a minority, you automatically were presumed to be socially and economically disadvantaged. So you could go through that program. Literally, and this is for the entire nation, they have removed all the goals for federal highway, for transportation, for any federal contract
Mm,
that falls under this program. All the goals were removed to zero based on a number of lawsuits, that they're still litigating. So in that process, regulatory changes have came to remove those presumptions. So anyone that's been certified under those two certifications have to be reevaluated. And that reevaluation process is starting in February, meaning that they have to be able to prove social and economic disadvantage, that they've experienced any type of systematic barriers through education, employment, or business within the United States. And they have to submit personal narratives. And within that narrative, you can't say, okay, I've had hardships in this country, but
right.
you can't say they've been because you were a woman or because you were a minority. So you have to you can if you even mention those two things in your personal narrative, you're automatically the reevaluation is not probably not going to go in your favor. So that is long as well as a personal net worth statement. So to be a small business, you have to meet some certain thresholds of for all the owners to have a net worth. So that process is starting in Texas for over 6,000 small businesses have to be reevaluated, and we're working. We're very interestingly enough, we are one of the governing bodies for the state of Texas for certification. So we're partnered with the Texas Unified Certification Program. So that's TxDOT, that's the city of Houston, city of Austin, Corpus Christi, San Antonio, and of course we handle North Central Texas. So over 16 counties. So we have the lion's share of that work, making sure that firms get recertified. Because once they're recertified and they go through the reevaluation process, then all that federal funding will start to flow with goals that include small business participation. It's a lot. I know. I know. You're just like, but yes, everyone needs to know because if they don't participate, you you will at some point be decertified, and if you're on contracts, you have to. And I know it's information overload, and people are when you remove the noise and you get down to, you're still independent of all of these things. Your business has value and worth. You still can perform if you can do the work, if you have the relationships, independent of what they call it. You move
Hmm.
forward, and I always tell my small businesses, you have 5 emotional minutes, and then it's time to get down to business.
Hey, I heard that. No notes from me. And I mean, and like, just truth be told, like, we are in, especially if you are woman owned, minority owned, whatever box you may check, right? We're all scraping for pennies. I don't know one business owner that's just floating on good times right now. And so we've all felt a hit. And to your point, it's like we have to check every box we can to ensure that we have sustainability in our companies. And so to your point, I know the value of my company, and we're going to make sure that other people understand this as well to take advantage of these programs, because also to your point, the funding is null and void if we are not making the system work. The system only works when you work it. And so I tell my team.
And there are too many contracts out there. Literally, Dallas County, they've had a small business program for over 20 plus years. And though they're still working, there's still contracts. It's been business as usual in Dallas County. The city of Dallas has moved to it. The city of Arlington. So Fort Worth is
And you
big.
said
So
the big F word beforehand about FIFA. Like let us not forget that.
yes,
Um, Wanted to go ahead and lead into my next question, which we kind of talked about a little bit about government agencies, large corporations promote about supplier diversity, but some people may say outcomes vary. Can you specifically say what role the agency plays in ensuring that certified firms are not just listed, but actually used? I feel like you kind of answered that question before, right? By like partnering with other organizations, reaching out and ensuring that they are on the forefront when the funding starts coming around. I didn't know if you wanted to add on to that or not.
absolutely. So there are, because NCTRCA, we're itching up on 35 years, and we were created for this purpose. So not just to provide a streamlined approach or streamlined access to a database for all of our member entities. And those are DFW Airport, DART, NTTA, Parkland Hospital, City of Dallas, City of excuse me, I'm losing it. City of Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, Arlington, Lancaster. So just to name a few, Dallas County, Dallas College. So within all of those spaces, there are contracts that they will be awarding. And the great thing about the member entities are they are dialed into NCTRCA because we are a trusted certification process. They know that if a certification is coming out of the agency, it's going to be done right because we have the most tenured staff almost in the state of Texas. So within that process, there are opportunities that are there. NTTA, they are not federally funded, nor are they government funded, and they rolled out $2 billion worth of contracts just for 2026 alone. They have business chats I believe it's the third Tuesday of every month, and you can go in, meet with those procurement teams and those decision makers about, hey, where are your pain points? Where are your contracts? This is what my company does. The last firm I sent there, I said, I encourage you to go there. They got a $10 million contract.
Gotcha.
TxDOT, they're still open for business. They do pre-qualifications. You can come in and say, hey, this is my business. Can you pre-qualify me based on your needs? The last small business I sent there were pre-qualified for $300,000 just to start. Once you get in the door, keep you if you're doing the work and you can do business, you can maintain those contracts. But I think foundationally, and I believe DFW is a classic example. They
Mm-hmm.
created in these regulatory changes because they got together with NCTRCA and the councils and they created an entirely new certification. So, hey, while we're figuring out the federal portions here, we're going to put small business participation goals, true goals on these contracts. And I had the opportunity to be at the fireside chat with their CEO, McLaughlin.
Mm-hmm.
They're rolling out $12 billion. They're committing $12 billion worth of funding over the next 5 years. And I know for a fact that 350 million are out. These opportunities are rolling out now. We created an entirely new certification, the SBE Plus, which is Small Business Enterprise Plus certification that has a personal net worth component, just to prove that you do fall within small business parameters.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things are happening. I'm counting the billions of dollars worth of funding that's available. Come to an event. Even with the cities, we're working hand in hand with all of the different councils and in the chambers of commerce, as well as the city of Fort Worth, for their small business program. We're working with Beck School of Construction. It's not just about construction. It's professional services. It's concessions. It's commodity, any type of commodity. So whatever type of business that you have, there's space for you somewhere in DFW Metro, and there's funding and opportunities to be had. You mentioned FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
For the 2 months of FIFA, It's going to be something for
Yeah.
small businesses to make and to change and build a legacy for their families in 2 months. Where else can you do that but here?
Right.
So I just tend to look at the lighter, not the lighter side, but the realistic side. That it's
Right.
easier said. One would say, "Hey, it's easier said than done, Angela," because people do business with who they know, who they like and they trust, and who's capable. Do you need certification? No, you can probably do business without certification, but it puts you in the room and it
Hmm.
verifies and validates that your business has done what it's supposed to do to be sustained.
And of course, I apologize, Angela. My phone went dead, but I'm pulling up my questions right now. There's always something.
All right. Look, I sound like a long-winded preacher. So it's
No,
just like
that's what I wanted.
everything's
No,
just
this is
so much.
no, we're gonna because there's definitely I can just go ahead and tell you because I know I'm gonna chop this up, but like there's definitely points that I need to drive home and highlight, which is the opportunities and the numbers out there that are already out there for these are not hypothetical. Like this is a 2026 number you just gave me. You're not giving me, reports, budgets, or anything like that. These are real dollars. And so I think our audience needs to hear that as somebody who, I mean, half the time, I don't know if Kayla told you, I tend to interview based on my own, I'll just say it,
Right.
ignorance, right? Based on like things I don't know. I know I was MBE certified. I got a couple marketing things, but they were just, not really affiliated with the city. But now I'm hearing I just wasn't educated enough to know how to use it. So that's pretty much like the synopsis I have. So that's why I appreciate this conversation. I do have the question.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so for my next question, I actually kind of want to jump to the hub question if that's okay.
Well, I can answer as much hub as I know. We don't do hub certification, but I can definitely get into the throes of some of the different questions you might have.
Okay. And you know what? And that's pretty much like I said, it might be a little ignorant, but I know that hub certification is done in partnership with the state of Texas. Does the agency help small businesses in any capacity navigate the requirements when it comes to hub certifications at
So
all? As
they
you said,
so Hub has changed. The agency does not process Hub certifications, but we do have our community partners that do. So
mhm.
we'll refer them. Now Hub has also moved. The state of Texas has kind of aligned with this administration to again remove remove sex, race, or gender as a qualifying or presumptive group. So historically underutilized business program has now shifted to the disabled veterans uh, program. So now Hub dollars or Hub projects can only be leveraged by if you are a verified disabled veteran small business. So they've removed that entirely, which you do have some minorities, some women who may be veterans or disabled veterans, but it does take a large portion of businesses and takes it down to a very small pool of individuals.
That's what I
So
was like, that is hyper specific.
it is.
Okay. All
It
right.
is
Let's,
indeed and quite intentional,
right.
in my
And we will
opinion.
leave that there. And Angela, for my final question, for small business owners who feel discouraged or locked out of opportunity, what does success at NCTRCA actually look like 5 years down the road?
So Jess, I love that you asked that question because we are working day and night. If you ask, coupled with that question, what keeps me up at night? What types of resources that small businesses need to really navigate through this new season? And I call it a season because for people of color, melanin specific, for Black folks, for Brown folks, for women, mountains are not new. We've been fighting our entire lives. And I've met some individuals that started their business at their kitchen tables and they're worth $100 million today. So I say despise not humble beginnings. You do have to stay encouraged, but you have to, again, Take that emotional moment if that's what you need, but really tool and retool your business, retool those relationships. Sometimes it's new relationships. We want to sit at a table that Jesus has already flipped over. I'm just saying. For those Bible scholars, you'll know
Hey, we got
exactly what I mean.
them.
But I say that, you may want desire to sit at a table that's not your table. Perhaps it's time for you to build your own table. And by that I mean building the relationships and new, retooling, having your financial structure in place, having, training and development both for yourself and your staff to be able to meet the moment and look at these contracts and look at these RFPs to say, is this what I really want to do? Can I partner with someone who looks like me or who may not look like me, but to really do this work? And then start to come outside go to the business chats, go to the airports. Everyone's not going to be a concessionaire, but you can supply to concession people. We're working, and what keeps me up at night is NCTRCA. We're in the process of building out a small business resource center, meaning that it's a repository. Where can you go to, one, tool, get training? We're partnered with Goldman Sachs 10K Small Businesses. So you could literally have a community to help you define what your business needs to be and what it is. We're working to build out an accelerator program that's going to be launching next month. We're going to have classes that'll show you, one, how to purchase a business, a standalone, functioning, profitable business, how to gain funding for that business. And for those who want to sunset and go off to Bora Bora, if you don't have any succession planning in place, how do you sell your business? How do you expand for capacity? Because a lot of times businesses don't have 10 years to build into learning a particular trade or a NACE code, but you can purchase it. So I think we are helping businesses be prepared to compete. And a lot of the outreach that we will be doing in 2026 is focused just around that. Be prepared to compete. Show up. What are you saying out of your mouth? What are the first 12 words you're saying out of your mouth? Because you let the whole community know what type of business you are and know if they can work with you or not.
Right.
So, and I think how you show up on paper. Do you have capability statements? And the capability statements that you have, can you actually do the work? AI
Right.
is not going to show up on that job for you. It's no different than a resume. You can put
Yeah.
everything on there, and believe me, I love it. I do. But it's all about the prompts. You can prompt yourself into a corner if you can't do the work that your capability states that you can, because they're going to go off of that. So I can preach for a really long time, but I say stay encouraged. This is not a new, this is a new, it's a season that requires new tools, but it's not a new
Mhm.
season.
Right.
It's just more work to be done. And there are opportunities. Where there's crisis, it breeds opportunity as well. I think it's the lens by which you look at it. If you
Mhm.
can solve, you can solve a need. And when I talk to small businesses, I said, dear heart, you're the answer to someone's need. And if you don't, then go out into the community and talk to the community and find out what is it that they need and what talents and tools and resources do you have to meet that need. And that's a business.
I love that. And I love the note that you said about empowerment, especially I'll preach to the choir. It's like even when you own a business at 70 years old, like it's just not the same business as when it started back in the day. So it's like I was also thinking like, you know what, I need to go to a class or two. Empowerment for sustainability. Like the system works when you work it. And that was been your through line the whole time. It's like we have the tools, but we can't force you to use it, you know?
Absolutely. And when you're certified easily, I sat down with a gentleman. He'd been working on logistics for airports and for different businesses. And he's like, wow, what I do is a business. Let me just start it. Let me just start it slowly. And he stays in the lane that he knows. I can do this
Mhm.
well because I do it 9 to 5 for someone else. I can do this really well. And he decided to launch his business. He decided to go ahead and get certified. And the great thing is, well, hey, Angela, okay, I'm certified. Can you connect me? My board members are phenomenal because they're actually doing the work. So it's
Right.
if I send an email or if they, hey, you need to go this place. And when you go to this place, make sure you meet this gentleman and that gentleman or that person and that person. And it's welcoming because they're actually responsible for the work and the types of contracts, so they can get you into to the next person to get that contract. And it's not that a lot of that bureaucracy that you may
Right.
find.
Right.
So
I love it. So I appreciate you answering all of my questions so thoroughly. And like I said, more so, I appreciate the fact that the agency is cognizant of the climate that's happening right now, but still finding new innovative ways to still help businesses. And I think also it's imperative for our audience to know that, like, pay attention to the market of what's happening in Dallas. It's not getting smaller anytime soon. The Metroplex area, you mentioned FIFA, but for those of you who don't know, NASDAQ is on its way to Plano. AT&T just moved to Plano, but it's still in the Metroplex. So it's just like Toyota, like, I mean, I can go on and on and on, but like there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of money just in North Texas, period. So yeah, I'm excited to see us take advantage. So thank you so much for talking with me. And thank you so much for supporting the Dallas Weekly.
absolutely. If you need anything, we appreciate the platform. I believe that what comes from the heart definitely reaches the heart. And we're at the heart of small businesses because you make up this country, and it's something, everything that we touch started somewhere.
Absolutely.
So, and it started somewhere
Absolutely.
probably from us. So,
Period. It's like
period.
off the record, on the record. You can
All right.
trust me. And actually, I'm not sure if Kayla told you, but I will officially invite you to our annual award show called the Best of Black Dallas. It's my baby.
I
Last year
love
was our sixth one. But basically, it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a combination of a campaign that we do for about 3 months, encouraging people to be civically engaged or use their voice to support their community. We like to also do it around voting times, just to say, when you go out and vote for your favorite barbecue spot or your favorite hairstylist, be sure to go hit them polls too. So it's something that we just like to encourage. Like, when your voice is used, then you see impact. But then we also have a nice formal award ceremony. People like to dress up. And I think, oh, not I think, last year we had Jasmine Crockett come out and do the welcoming statement, and she tore the house down. So it's just a great time with, like, I would say, the best Black people in the DFW. So you got to be in the room.
Say less. I will look. Say I will be there. I will be there. So
Awesome.
thank you so much. Well,
Yes.
anything I can do, any questions you might have, any resources, I will have Kayla. We're available. We just want to get as much of the word out as possible because I'm sitting here counting these billions of dollars. Like, oh, you said 12 billion. I stopped him. I
Yeah.
said, Chris, how much did you say? And they gave us in the paperwork to match it. So, but one of the things I will say is for small businesses, even those that are certified, if you go into the website for nctrca.org and where it says our members, all
Hmm.
those logos, if you click on any of those logos, it goes to all their open bids. Oh,
Wow.
yeah. So you see it in real time.
Okay. That just got my brain going. Because I think it's just cool. Like, why aren't all of our agencies operating as like a high technical level like this? But I will get off of my soapbox because that's not what this is for. We'll have lunch or something later on.
Absolutely. Like
I do
I
want
need
to,
some ideas for some workshops. I'm like, what do businesses need? We've scoured, like, what do they? I just need to know what do you need, and we
yeah.
can pull it together to provide it.
Well, one thing I can do, and this is on a very serious note, is that we are now having capability to do surveys because we want to know what our audience wants as far as the news that we tell. But part of that tool that we use to find out from our audience is also something that we partner with our clients, like our health clients, for instance, want to know, like, about uh, breast cancer surveys, or organ donations and things like that. So I say all that to say is that I can come up with some ideas for
Absolutely.
maybe Black Business Month later on down the year. But I would love to tap into our community and just say, like, hyper specific, what do you guys need? And the cool part is, for our clients, just to let you know, we can do it by zip code, economic status. Like, we can get down to the nitty gritty of, like, what is actually usable from a data perspective. So I
That
don't
would be
give as
great.
much justice as I probably should. I speak kind of ignorantly, but it's an amazing tool that we need to put to use just so we can understand
Well,
our
if you're
environment.
saying you speaking ignorant, your ignorant bar is way up here. I'm like, that may be what you call it. That's like,
Well, I guess like when you have an anthropologist explain it to you and they're using like, I'm like, okay, sis, I get it. It's a great tool.
but I will say, let me know. Again, we handle over 9,000 certifications for over 5,000 firms across the
Mm,
DFW, and ours hit nationally. So I think that there's a lot of stuff that, as we building out resources and different types of workshops, we don't want it to fall on deaf ears. And a lot of
yeah,
times people, I'm like, okay, what does it need to look like? Because they're gonna need some different things in this season, because I think it's gonna be a different fight. Um, or a different mountain. I'll say that. It's
I'm
already a
glad you
different mountain. Mm.
And I'm glad
Mhm.
you taught me about the tech part. I love little video savvy things. I'm probably going to do an overlay of us on the website and clicking on the logo just to kind of like show, you know what I mean? It won't be part of the video as far as our interview, but I think as you're talking about something else, I'll just show like how cool and high tech the platform is. So thank you for
We're
giving me
getting
that.
there. We're getting there.
Listen, I tried to renew my license the other day and that was painful. So that's what I was like. It sounds to me like y'all are light years
Into some type of exam. Believe me, I've gone through. I have to go on the back end of my subject matter experts, and I like to put people around me that are so much smarter than me. I'm like, look, what is this? And I just geek out. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
you and I are
akin to an
kindred
exam.
spirits in that regard. All right, I don't want to keep us on too long. I know we have each other for about 10 more minutes, so I wanted to ask you first if there was any, I only wanted to ask you 2 to 3 questions from the video ones. Are there any in particular that you like more than the other, or you want me to just pick my favorite?
You can pick your favorite. I trust your judgment.
Okay.
I think your level of genius is right on par. You see how I flipped that? Yep. So
Yeah.
your
Thank
genius
you.
level is way up here. And I'm not gonna shy away from any of the questions. They were great questions, and they were relevant and evident, and people need to know. So I think that I built up enough relationship collateral where I've had to, as a Black woman, I've had to find new words, and I went through my emotional minutes of having to switch. It's not even dialect now. I mean, you can't use diversity to say you can't use
Right.
it. So these types of things. So it was painful having to find the words for that. So I've gone through my emotional minutes, and now I'm like, dogmatic around, these are the opportunities. Remove the excuse. I've had my
Yeah.
emotional moment. You have yours. Now it's time to get gangster with your business
Period.
and with your period, just with your brand. So, I pride to be this, I pride myself and I pray a whole lot on being the same person here as I am out in the community, as I am, you know, with my family and with everybody. So if you see me, this is what I got.
Right. And I pick up on authenticity. I don't know if you know that's the kind of girl I am. So I
Mhm.
appreciate it. I really, really do. So yeah, with that being said, my first question would be, why do you think so many certified businesses still feel locked out of contracts?
They feel locked out of contracts for a myriad of reasons. It could have been the experience that they had. One, depending upon the entities, because there are some stories that are less favorable to businesses. I believe that a lot of times businesses will believe the noise that, okay, we can't check the box. Some of these boxes, these MBE and WBE and boxes, people have jumped in intentionally. And then even if you volunteer to check the box, you still have to be able to do the work. You still have to build the relationships. And some people check the boxes without doing the work and got some checks. But I think that um, being very knowledgeable, or educating yourself, because it is information overload, it's stress overload. be it whether it's on television or on social media or in the news. But I think you have to dial down and get quiet about your business and being very intentional about the rooms that you want to be in, about the role that you want to play with your small business, and what companies you want to work with, and what companies have the opportunities that align with your purpose and with your business and with your intention. And doing that, getting in the flow of, because certification does not guarantee you money. I say that everywhere I go. You have to do the work. There has to be um, sweat equity or relationship equity in everything that you do in order for it to really work. And it's not, I'm gonna go into DFW airport. I'm gonna get this $10 million contract. That may very well happen, but sometimes it happens with, okay, let me get this $100,000 contract. Let me get this $300,000 contract, and let me build up credibility. Let me partner with a company that is getting a $10 million contract, and do the work and show up, how you show up and how your business shows up, whether it be your capability statements, being able to do the work that you say you're going to do, come in on time and have the capability and the capacity. Sometimes firms don't have the capacity. Bonding is a real thing. And if you haven't sat down and assessed your financial stability and sustainability, and before you're entering into a contract, you
Mm-hmm.
could go broke on that contract if you're waiting, because in understanding the nuance in the environment that you're walking into is critically important. So I think that a lot of people are not being iced out of contracts. Some are. It's a reality, because small businesses mean everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's competing for the same things, which is why you really have to pick what areas you want to work in and understand the relationships, and build the relationships. If you're new, go to the chats, go to the chamber meetings. You don't have to be a chamber member to go. A lot of times they'll let people from the public come in and visit. Go to the council meetings or go to the events. Hard Hat, the Business Supplier Development Council, they're having Hard Hat, I believe it's the second Wednesday in February. You have probably 1,500, almost 2,000 businesses that are there. They're billions of dollars worth of work that are hand to hand, and they're telling you exactly what you need, and building relationships. We have our Met Gala coming up August 7th. In our last gala, we had $1 billion under one roof. If you couldn't make a connection there, your eyes were closed.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and find my dress for next August's event. Because yeah, I missed that one. But to your point though, it's about showing up, being in the room, empowering yourself. I mean, be a business owner. Nothing comes to you without sweat equity, to your point. That's what being a real, especially being a real small business owner. We're not talking about the court, like you said, we're not, if you're not a corporation, then you just got to get out there and grind and use the resources that are provided for you. So Angela, you made it very plain and clear. I appreciate your candid cadence and your transparency. And really, I do appreciate you just telling it like it is, especially for our audience, which is, as a Black publication, we have a lot of small business owners that are, struggling, and some are really scared. So I'm excited to share this story with them so they have opportunity.
Absolutely. So I am so glad.